in a large music company, record label, and she and her mostly middle-class, mostly white coworkers have to find the next gangsta rapper. Of course, they have no idea what they're looking for. So they all pile into a car, and they head over to Queens, and this is what happens when they get to the club. We pulled off onto a side street that had rows of 2-story brick buildings along both sides, only broken up by the occasional chain-link fenced vacant lot. This did not feel good in my gut. The sidewalk widened, and there was a series of bodegas and a narrow blackened building with a lit sign in the front that read, "Drop Zone Lounge." There were 2 bored-looking black guys standing in front with their arms crossed. "Are we supposed to be on some sort of a guest list?" I asked Kenny, thinking these men were the doormen or the bouncers. I don't know," Kenny stammered. Tony let us off in front, and said he would park and come back. We loaded out onto the sidewalk. The beat from inside the building was apparent through the walls. We must have looked like a real motley crew. A skinny Jewish guy, a black guy in a suit, a punk rocker girl, me, and some kind of African queen in fancy jogging sweats. The 2 guys at the door immediately perked up on our arrival. Kenny made to walk past them, as if he owned the place. "Excuse me," he started to say, just as one of the guys placed the tip of his finger on the front of Kenny's soft leather jacket. The guy's black t-shirt, pants, and cap were all really, really black. His muscles rippled under the stretched pull of his cotton t-shirt. I didn't know why he wasn't freezing in the chilly March air. The other guy was skinny and much shorter. He stepped up, arms crossed, and trying to look stern, but his oversized baseball cap and the crooked smile gave off a slightly crazed vibe instead. "May I help you?" the muscle guy asked in a deep, formal voice, looking Kenny up and down like he was something that smelled awfully bad, yet grinning the whole time. We're obviously a source of amusement. We'd like to go inside to see the rappers, the guys, the people who are performing." Kenny tried to puff up his chest a little bit, but it wasn't a go. My eyes darted up and down the street, and I inched my way closer to Lakeisha. There was nothing moving on the whole street except a few shuffling pages at the bottom of the chain-link fence. "Are you here to see Reg?" the smaller guy asked as he looked over our obviously not from around here entourage. He thought we were here for a drug buy. "No," Michael chimed in. "We're here to meet a friend, Doggy T." "Doggy T?" He turned to the other guy, and they both smirked. "Who are you, the butler?" The muscle guy sneered at Michael. He stepped around Kenny, who shrank slightly, relieved to have the attention off of him. "Jeeves, step up to the mahogany, my man, and fetch me a cream sherry." The crooked smile guy said in an odd, mixed Brooklyn and British accent. They both howled at their own hilarity. Kenny froze. Michael froze. I could see the bitterness rise up in his eyes. The muscle guy saw it too, and the tension went up a notch. Lakeisha sighed audibly and shifted her weight, jutting out her hip with her hand firmly placed on it. The muscle guy suddenly stepped up to Michael, his taut chest inches away from Michael's tie. Michael didn't flinch. They were eye to eye, though Michael was noticeably narrower, even in his shoulder-padded suit. Kenny gasped. The guy still had the grin on his face, but with a more searching look in his eyes. Lakeisha said, "Oh, for God's sake." Stepping up to their profiles, her Brooklyn came flying out. "Open the damn door and let us up in this place," she ordered. Both Michael and the muscle guy looked at her, surprised, but for different reasons. I was holding my breath, waiting to see what they would do. The muscle guy stepped back and smiled broadly. "Of course, madame," he mocked, and did an exaggerated bow with his arm moving toward the grimy door. The other guy opened the door as Lakeisha led the way, with her shoulders thrown back and her head held high. The rest of us scurried inside after her, not looking back.